All hail Hypnotoad. He is almighty and ever-knowing. He even knows what C-18 commander you're building, and he's excited that it is Lord Windgrace. He can't wait. He's just super thrilled. As far as our opening hand goes, yes, I like it. We've got Dark Depths in the hand, Rogue's Passage. We will be online for Corsair of Crufix, and got a new card in the deck, Vampiric Tutor. We'll definitely keep on this one. And it should be a fun, interesting matchup against Ghave, Guru of Spores. So hopefully our opponent's not playing a super heavy control build. Typically, we like to keep Gitrog around on the battlefield and get a lot of enchantments on him. So we'll see if our opponent wants to mulligan. Oh, looks like they're going to keep. Do we want to go for Vampiric Tutor right away? Is that something we want to go for? You know what, let's just go and get down Overgrown Tomb. Yeah, let's do that. Let's go and put that into play. Not going to pay 2 life. And then let's go and pass the turn to our opponent. We're playing the Gitrog monster himself, Mr. Enchantress. Death Touch at the beginning of your upkeep. Sacrifice the Gitrog monster unless you sacrifice a land. Then you may play an additional land on each of your turns. Then whenever one or more land cards are put into your graveyard from anywhere, draw a card. Draw into Swamp. Yeah, let's get online for Corsair of Crufix. I think I'm okay with that. Let's go and get down Forest, and then we'll go and pass the turn to our opponent. Playing against Ghave, Guru of Spores. Ghave enters the battlefield with 5+1 counters on it. Then for a 1-mana activation, remove a +1 counter from a creature you control. Create a 1/1 green Saproling creature token, which is going to be Sapling for the rest of the video. 1-mana activation, sacrifice a creature. Put a +1 counter on target creature. I don't know why. I always try to pronounce it Saproling, and it sounds like I don't know, like you're trying to bend your arm backwards in like a weird way or something like that. So just call them sapling tokens. I don't know. It just kind of makes sense in my head that they little plant creatures and they could be little tree saplings. And I don't know. I like the thought of that. All right, so opponent's going to get down a Temple Garden, and then that will be the start of their turn now. Now, as far as what we're going to get going on, we do have Vampiric Tutor in the hand. Like I mentioned, we're going to get down Corsair of Crufix. That way we can start making a few extra land drops. One of the things that we definitely want to keep going with this deck is Gitrog is going to allow us to draw a ton of cards once we start getting some really good lands going. I was about to mention. One thing that we could go for is Life from the Loam. That'll really get our graveyard going. But now that we have Scavenging Ooze out there, okay, we'll see exactly what we want to go for with that. I hate Scavenging Ooze. So we're not going to go for Life from the Loam. We'll figure out exactly what we want to go for. We might end up going for an Enchantress piece, now that I think about it, with the Scavenging Ooze on the battlefield. That way we can get in a little bit better card draw. So let's go and go for Vampiric Tutor. Let's go and grab a Grothian Enchantress. That'll be pretty good. It'll have Shrouds. So let's go and grab a Grothian Enchantress. We'll go and get her down now that we kind of know what we need to do with Vampiric Tutor. And then we can also get an additional card draw off of Corsair of Crufix and Eidolon Blossoms, which would be really nice. So let's go and go for a Grothian Enchantress. It's going to be green. Get her down. We can't go for Dark Depths. That won't tap for any mana. So at this point right now, we'll just go and get down Swamp. And then we'll go and pass the turn to our opponent. Now, it's not the end of the world that our opponent does have Scavenging Ooze on the battlefield. This is a graveyard-based deck. We like to have a lot of lands go to the graveyard. If they want to start exiling some stuff, they can. And the only thing that's really going to kind of mess us up with Scavenging Ooze being on the battlefield is, like I mentioned earlier, stuff like Life from the Loam or things that just care about our graveyard. We have, not asceticism, but Creeping Renaissance. We can bring a bunch of stuff back from the graveyard onto the battlefield. We also have World Shaper, which allows us to bring a lot of these lands out of the graveyard too. So it's just basically kind of going to shut us off just for a little bit, but it is not the end of the world. Let's go ahead and get done Corsair of Crufix. Let's see if we can't catch a land on top of our library. We're going to draw an additional land, but see if we can't make that land drop. I'm just going to go for Scavenging Ooze. Okay. Drawn to Woodland Cemetery, and that will be Shades Form on top of our library. Let's go ahead and get down Woodland Cemetery. We're going to draw, gain an additional life, put us back up to 27, and then we'll go and pass the turn to our opponent. Now, next turn, we are looking at getting down Rogue's Passage. That will put us online for the Gitrog monster. Kind of depending on what our opponent wants to get out there. They can get the Jitte onto Scavenging Ooze. We might still go ahead and block with Corsair of Crufix to kind of stop that from coming across. Harmonic Sliver. Destroy target artifact or enchantment, so that will take care of Corsair of Crufix. But to say we could have blocked with Corsair on Scavenging Ooze if they wanted to swing across Uazama's Jitte. But since they went for Harmonic Sliver, we'll at least kind of go ahead and, yeah, the exile. They'll go and swing it for 3. Okay, knock us down to 24. And then with them only having 4 cards in the hand, yeah, I think I'm okay with this, with getting down Gitrog. We're looking at additional card draw once we get down Eidolon of Blossoms, Shades Form, and Oblivion Crown next turn. Yeah, let's do that. Let's go and go for that. Let's go and get down Gitrog Monster. All right, get him down. We can make an additional land drop. It's going to get down Dark Depths, and then anything else, kick it back over there. When I first started recording Gitrog wasn't one of the first commanders that I built, but it was one of the first new releases that I did, kind of like, because my channel kind of went into stages. So like when I first started it was just kind of like, hey, these are the decks that I have that I play on Magic Online. And then Gitrog was one of the first commanders that I was like, oh yeah, I need to start kind of timing my release schedule with some of these new commanders. So Gitrog is one of the first ones that I built in like kind of like a little bit of a better capacity. And so all right, opponents can swing across the Harmonic Sliver, deal 1 damage, get those charge counters on there. But the funny thing about the Gitrog monster, ooh, Bajukabog, that is just everything going off of that. It is just I used to always forget the land drops with the Gitrog monster, and that was always I hated that. It was always a bummer. Let's go and sacrifice the land. I guess at this point right now, we're pretty far away from Dark Depths, and if they want to sacrifice it or exile it with Scavenging Ooze, that's perfectly fine. But for the life of me, I could never remember to make those additional land. Oh, of course we draw on the Thespian stage. That is a bummer. Let's go ahead and get down Oracle. I like that. We can see if we can't make an additional land drop off the top part of our library and then get down Thespian stage. That would have been real nice to get down a Merit Lage token off of that. Okay, let's go and get down Misty. And then let's go ahead and get down Swamp off the top part of our library. Let's go and crack Misty. That way we can get an additional card draw. And they're going to give Oracle -1/-1. That's fine. Go for that. Alright, so drawn to Fallen Ideal. And then let's go and grab Bayou at this point right now. So we'll have Bayou hit the battlefield. And at this point, since we are kind of looking out for some sort of spot removal, I think I like going for Shade's Form onto Gitrog Monster. That's going to give us an additional card draw. And what we're going to do is, while I was talking last turn, we should have blocked on Harmonic Sliver. But we're going to put Shade's Form onto Gitrog Monster. That way we can at least, if they want to swing in again, we can chump block with Gitrog. Okay, so we have that on Gitrog, and then anything else, no, we're going to go and leave up Gitrog. That way if Harmonic Sliver wants to swing in, they will have to walk into the mouth of Gitrog Monster with Shade's Form on there. Now, as far as next turn goes, we do have a Growthing Enchantress on the battlefield. We're looking at a pretty good enchantment kind of cards in our hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We're going to have 7 total mana. 8 once we make the land drop. So we're actually going to be online for Eidolon of Blossoms and for Oblivion Crown. Hopefully if we can keep these charge counters off Uzama's Jitte, maybe they don't want to swing in or something like that. We get at least hopefully get Eidolon to kind of stick around on the battlefield. But if they will swing in, we'll at least go ahead and chump block with Gitrog Monster. Yeah, because Harmonic Sliver is just basically just a 1/1. So let's go and chump block, especially with Shade's Form. You know, if they have any sort of trick or something like that, we're fine with this. Okay, opponent's going to get down Aura Shards. And let's see if they do have a creature to pair with that Aura Shards to take care of Shade's Form. Right, no creature entering the battlefield. Let's go and sacrifice at this point right now. We'll go and sacrifice this Swamp. Draw into Soul Ring. And then draw into an additional Swamp. Let's go and get down Swamp. Yeah, I like that, because that's actually going to give us a little bit of extra mana. Let's get down Soul Ring. And let's do this. Let's go ahead and go for Eidolon of Blossoms. Yeah, I think I like that. Let's go and get down Eidolon of Blossoms. It's going to give us some additional card draw with it entering the battlefield and that cast trigger off of a Growthing Enchantress. Drawn to Tranquil Thicket. And draw to Alpha Authority. Let's go ahead and get Alpha Authority onto Gitrog Monster. I like that because it's going to give us protection. And it's going to give us additional card draw to Scavenger Grounds. Any certain way we want to sequence this, we'll just go and get down Scavenger Grounds. And then I like living up Oblivion Crown because if our opponent ends up going for Jitte activations off Eidolon, we can at least go and throw Oblivion Crown onto Eidolon of Blossoms in response to that trigger. Yeah, I like that. I'm just going to swing in with Gitrog Monster. There's only one creature in the graveyard. Well, let's see. That does put us in a spot to where if they do exile that, then we can flash in Oblivion Crown and take care of Scavenging Ooze. Yeah, I like this. Let's go and push in with Gitrog. Yeah, let's say we swing in with Gitrog, then they chump block with Scavenging Ooze, and then go for Jitte activations. Yeah, I think I like that. Let's go and push in with Gitrog Monster. It's going to be 6/6 coming across. Okay, that's going to be 6 total commander damage, knock him down to 25. And we did make the land drops for the turn, and then we do have Oblivion Crown to flash in. So let's go and pass the turn to our opponent. Opponent's going to exile Harmonic Sliver. And then they do get down Misty for the turn. So now they can get Jitte onto that Scavenging Ooze that will allow it to swing across for a 5/5. If they want to take those charge counters off and take care of Eidolon of Blossoms, we can potentially kind of let that go through. But one thing that really works well with the Gitrog monster is that we get down Oblivion Crown, we can discard a land card that's going to allow us to discard a card and then draw a card. So we might be able to kind of sequence it to where with Gitrog Monster, if we do get into Dakmor Salvage, we can go for a really good, we might actually, with them being tapped out, we might be able to go for Dakmor Salvage next turn, going for that Dredge option, now that I think about it. Okay, so opponent's going to go for Massacre Worm. Let's see how we want to sequence this one. Creature's going to get -2/-2. And they did target Alpha Authority with that Aura Shards. Let's go and flash in Oblivion Crown. We're going to choose Gitrog Monster on this one. Draw into Kodama's Reach, and then we'll get an additional card draw of Eidolon of Blossoms. Draw into Demonic Tutor. Okay, so that will put Scavenging Ooze on the battlefield. We'll see if they're going to swing in, but I think, if I'm correct, we can discard a card with Dakmor Salvage off that activated ability, then we'll be able to draw a card, and that's going to really allow us to kind of start cycling through our deck, and then hopefully get enough commander damage with Gitrog Monster, get him pumped up enough to where we can kind of swing past this one. We'll also have Rogue's Passage, which will allow us to kind of swing past on Massacre Worm. Okay, it's going to put us down to 13 with Scavenging Ooze swinging across, and then we'll see what we draw into. We do have to sacrifice some land, but at this point we have, you know, like I mentioned, we're going to go for that Dakmor Salvage option, so we're going to be A-okay. Let's go and sacrifice the Swamp on this one. And then draw into Windswept Heath, and draw into Worldly Tutor. Let's go and get down Windswept Heath. Let's go and get down Thespian Stage, and let's go and do this. Let's go and crack Windswept Heath. And let's go and grab Forest, and then let's go and go for Rogue's Passage activation. Target creature can't be blocked. That's going to be Gitrog. And then let's go and push across for 6. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go and speed this up. Okay, so our opponent's going to scoop it up. So basically what's going to happen is with Oblivion Crown and Dakmor Salvage, we're going to be able to discard that, and then in response to that card draw, we can go for the Dredge option, and it's going to allow us to basically kind of dredge out entire library and get us to a point where the Gitrog Monster will have more than enough to close it out. Let's say for some reason our opponent left up some mana that we're able to take care of Dakmor Salvage. What we could have done is at least kind of gotten to the point where we pumped it up enough and gone for that. But since our opponent completely tapped on mana, we were able to beat Scavenging Ooze, which feels, feels so good. I'll definitely take that one. That's going to allow us to swing in for some really nice commander damage and get that beautiful, beautiful Gitrog Monster win. So, if you enjoyed that video, like and subscribe. Thanks. Bye. Feels good to beat Scavenging Ooze. Ugh.